What is going on, everybody? ZachRC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another one of these sort of videos. One of these videos where I just sort of sit down and talk to you guys for a little bit, because it's been about a month or so since I last posted really anything on this channel of any sort of length. Like I said, I mean, about a month since my last video, which was the last driver career episode in the Aston Martin save. And I've been gone more or less since that point, save for the RDL streams of those who've been tuning into those. And in this video, I'm just going to try and sort of explain what's been going on the last month, where I've been, and what the plan is going forward. So, in terms of where I've been, so like I say, been about a month or so, I am back now, and I've had a few sort of different developments. I mean, mainly myself just looking at the content. I mean, the new stuff in terms of the face cam, the live commentary for F1, loving doing that. I had great fun doing it the first few episodes, but the actual concept of the Aston Martin save felt aimless, to put it bluntly. I didn't really feel like there was much purpose to it. It felt like, compared to Ultimate Career, for example, it felt like I was honestly just doing the... One sec, I got to take these off. I can't concentrate otherwise. I can't hear myself. So compared to Ultimate Career, the new driver career save truthfully just felt aimless. So it felt like I was going back to the days of old where I just stick up a video and that be it. There was no purpose. There was no world building in comparison to whatever the Ultimate Career, because it spanned several games, and that's something that I'm not really sure I can recapture a second time. Obviously, I know there are calls people to try and carry on with it, perhaps even on next year's game, do another season, F1 26, and that drops. But for me, that felt like it'd be way too long a gap, so obviously I had to have something in the meantime. So the plan was, at first, go back to driver career and run it doing the live commentary, so a bit of a different format in that sense. And I made mistakes in terms of sort of how I started with the Formula 2 stuff. I mean, the Formula 2 stuff did fantastic. I mean, I think I had one particular short that did about, I want to say 50,000 views on both YouTube and TikTok. Of course, views aren't the main concern at the minute. Obviously, I was just trying to get content out at the time, just to sort of just get the ball rolling again with something new. But then, yeah, I got a few episodes into actually getting into Formula 1, and it didn't feel right. I mean, the full quality, that truthfully, I felt like that was a mistake, because the videos were lined up to be about half hour or so, and for me, I always try and keep them to sort of 20-25 minutes at most. I'll be happy to go over it if it's like a sprint episode, for example. So the China race, that episode, I think the 6th episode, I want to say, or the 5th, we got to a point where I'd completed completely edited everything up to the start of the Grand Prix, and we were looking at about half an hour already, or we were nearing that stage. I was thinking, there's no way I'm getting another 15 minutes out of this, in terms of, I mean, a 40-minute video, just way too long past the standard that I normally hold myself to in that sense. So full quality was a mistake. That was sort of the main reason for that. We were wasting too much time in doing qualifying. So I've sort of, the Aston save, I've scrapped that for this point. So that's done. And with that in mind, I was thinking to myself, okay, what can I now do? What's the next port of action from there? And I put out a poll a few weeks ago, just sort of asking what the opinion was in terms of the live com versus post com stuff, and a lot of you guys, in terms of the votes I got, were in agreement with me that the live com stuff was better, more engaging. So I hope you guys did enjoy that content when it was getting posted. Obviously, I want to get back to that as soon as I can. And obviously, I did that live stream a few weeks ago. For those of you who were there that night, I played iRacing, played Le Mans Ultimate, had some fun. Honestly, enjoyed doing that. I want to try and get back to doing more live streams as well. I've said that a lot in the past, where I've sort of said to myself, I'm going to get back to streaming, and it never really comes to fruition. I'll do one or two, and obviously the RDL streams on Monday night, that's always a constant there. So that's, obviously, that thought is there at the minute, but I want to actually start. I want to start streaming again a bit more often where I can. So if I've not got anything to do on a day, then I'll say I'll do a live stream. If you guys want to do things like open lobbies, that sort of thing, then honestly, I'm open to it. I mean, I've never really ventured into online myself in quite a while, but that's off topic for now. That can be something we cross. Well, that'd be a bridge we can cross later on down the line. But the main thing for the minute is obviously videos. That's what I want to do. That's the bread and butter of this channel. That's what I love doing, and I hope that's what you guys love seeing from me as well. So there were a few ideas that I had that I did want to sort of run through that I've been thinking of. And the other thing that happened over the course of the last month or so, or mainly the start of September, I got a brand new PC, and this was something I was very, very excited about. And I was going to make a video of it on the day, but I got wrapped up in, it's down here on my right, and I'll put the specs up on screen now so you guys want to have a read and just actually see what it is. But it's a 5070 graphics card. I was very, very pleased with that, and it didn't break the bank too much, which I think was another concern for that, but not an issue for me to discuss on video. But I'm pleased with it. It can run the path tracing on F125, so that's something that I was really excited about. And truthfully, it took a little while to actually get it moving, get it working properly. For those of you who've seen the RDL streams will notice it still looks quite similar to what it did in the past. That's because I've been running it on the ultra high setting for graphics and not the ultra max one, so I don't want to push the path tracing, at least on stream, until I know what the PC can do. So that's been a thing I've been testing the last week or two, just trying to get to grips with what the PC can do, what it can't. So I'm nearing the end of that stage now, and I've got a sense of whereabouts I can push this thing. So content will look a lot better, especially in the F1 game. That's the main thing I'm looking forward to when we do get back to it. But in terms of those ideas that I've had sort of going around in my brain for a little while, because obviously Ultimate Career is finished, that's in the dust. But I mean, the driver career, there was no selling point to it. There was nothing where I looked at it and thought people will want to watch this off the bat. So with that in mind, I thought to myself, what can we do instead? So there's a few ideas that I had. Two of them are sort of for the main series, and one of them is sort of like a side series that I want to venture into at some point. So any opinion is appreciated. So the first thing I did want to do was I wanted to bring back the old story career concept. For those of you who have been around for the last few years, or at least sort of early on in the life of this channel, I did a series called F1 The Prodigy back on F1 2021, and I created a fictional driver and basically created a sort of Breaking Point-esque story. I did the best job I could, given the fact that obviously there's no sort of cutscenes I can make. I mean, I made cutscenes, but they were quite shortly. They were just replay angles, and I was on Xbox at the time, so modding wasn't a thing. So we were reaching like season 3 of this series, and the cars still look the same. It was 2024 on the continuity. But I finished that series, and I tried to bring it back for F122, and I just couldn't get myself into it, which seems to be like a running thing for me. It's been perhaps my weakest point as a content creator in the last couple of years. But that was the idea that I had. But instead of doing it from a personal, just from me as a perspective, sort of create objectives, try and build that sort of Breaking Point-esque vibe if I could. But I mean, I wanted to go ahead with that, but the big thing being is that modding isn't really a capability in terms of what it used to be on the F1 game. So for those of you who obviously noticed in Ultimate Career, when Verstappen obviously wasn't the champion but would have had number 1 in his car, I switched it to a 33, just sort of keep it in line with everything. So, I mean, that's still possible now. But in terms of sort of driver changes, that sort of thing, that's something that we now no longer can control. Back in the day, back on F1 23, I think it was the last time you guys did that on Cheat Engine, then that'd be a possible thing, but obviously we're a few years removed from F1 23 now, so that's out of the question. I can't mod in that same way anymore, which is really annoying because I did enjoy making changes. Obviously, Road to GOAT back on F1 22, that was a sort of modded series as well. Of course, modded liveries, which we can still do, but driver changes, I made those changes myself. I didn't let the game do it naturally, and I liked the element of being able to do that. So, I mean, the immersiveness there off the table, because truthfully, I still don't trust the F1 game's transfer system. I really don't. I mean, I haven't seen it much yet. I mean, saying that, I finished the Ultimate Career season. I finished in that save and moved on to the next one, and it gave me Verstappen as a Ferrari teammate, which could have been a generational storyline. But I mean that's in the past at this point. That was about 2 months ago at this stage. So that's the story career idea, and I wanted to do that, but it wasn't really viable to do it to a higher standard. What I wanted to do back in the day was I wanted to bring back a fresh series and have not just one fictional character but several, and sort of follow sort of different pathways over the course of the season. But that'd be a lot more of a what's the word? A lot more of a struggle to sort of pull off. I remember trying to do a prologue on the game, it crashed the game, which didn't help. So that's been off the table for a little while, and every so often I'll get the urge to try and bring that idea back, and it never really comes to plan. So that's off the table for now, and if ever there does come a day where I can do it sort of viably, then that'd be fantastic. I'd love to do that sort of thing for you guys, to sort of create a story, another path to follow. But the other idea I had was doing what I've branded a pro career. So obviously there is a pro career mode in the F1 game, which is like 100% Grand Prix, locked in cockpit cam, no assists, 110 AI, literally everything. You can't sort of skip things. You've got to do the entire thing as you would as a professional F1 driver. I've wanted to do the idea of 100% races for a little while, because I see certain creators do it. I know Hayden Gullis does it on live. James Early does it for videos in a lot of cases, at least the last time I checked, which I think was the other week. But yeah, I'd love to do full-length races, and it'd be good practice, because another thing, I'd like to get back into Creator Series and try to stream those races, try and reserve there, and they always run full length, so I want to try and condition myself for that, to get properly into racing there. So yeah, Pro Career is an option potentially, but I mean the only difference is being that I'd still run sort of my assist levels and my AI level, because I'm not perfect at the game. You guys have seen I'm not perfect at the game. But it'd be full-length Grand Prix. I'd do cockpit cam. If I could try and make some sort of filter, put the helmet on, try and do like a visor cam sort of thing, that'd be quite cool. I'd like to do that. So that's the other idea I've got right now. And in terms of starting team, I'm still sort of figuring that out. Obviously, I bought the RB hat several weeks ago. I was going to use the old Toro Rosso one, because at one point I was dead set on starting with VCAR, but I thought to myself, do you know what? I start with RB pretty much every single save I do at least once on a game. So F123 I did it, F124 I did it, F1 Ultimate Career I did it. I mean, I haven't done F125, but I was about to. I was on the verge of doing that, and I wanted to have Hadjar as a teammate, but I'm leaning more towards Haas at this stage. So whether I buy a new Haas hat, or maybe I'll use the Ferrari one in my wardrobe, I'm not entirely sure. But that again, that's something to be decided when I actually get round to it. So Pro Career is an idea there, and I wanted to sort of test the waters and see what the general consensus, the opinion would be of that. Because I mean, I'd love to do something like that. I'd love to sort of do like a full-length season. I'd probably still do short qualifying, just to sort of keep things brief on that front, just sort of more focus on the racing, because I think that's what killed the first save for me in the Aston Martin. Yeah, I'd like to do that. That'd be another cool idea. And the last thing that I wanted to do, which is a slightly more recent idea, was to try and do a series on another game. I mean, there's only a few games that sort of have career modes at this stage, but the one I've had my eye on, in case you haven't seen the thumbnail, is MotoGP. I mean, I've tried to sort of focus more on looking into MotoGP this year. Unfortunately, I can't watch a lot of races because of my work schedule, but I've kept my eye on it. Marquez dominating this season. He's on course for the championship. I think he'll likely wrap up in sort of a race or two. Alex Marquez, his brother, chasing him down. But I've been playing at MotoGP 25. I bought that back at launch, and I was going to do a career save on it. So this has been a problem. This has been an idea that's been brewing for a little while now. But the game, as it released, the AI were practically unbeatable for my skill level. And I mean, that was one of two concerns. The AI couldn't be beat in terms of qualifying. You'd accelerate time and they go several seconds faster. So that didn't work. But I think that's now fixed after rigorous testing. Now, that's what I've been doing sort of the last few days. I've got back into MotoGP 25, and I've been sort of figuring out where my difficulty level lies, because the adaptive AI doesn't really work much either. After a few races, I find that I was sort of too quick for the AI. So the other thing was the fact that they introduced an arcade mode this year, where it's sort of a lot more basic. There's very little control that goes into it, and I wanted to use that because I'm not fantastic at the MotoGP games. Honestly, I'm terrible at them by comparison to the F1 games. But that was an idea. That's what I sort of wanted to do. But then I was too quick for the arcade one. I put the Pro one back on, which is the sort of the normal handling model, and I was several seconds off the pace of even the lowest difficulty. So I was in this horrible sort of limbo spot where I was too good for one mode and too bad for the other. So I had to figure that out, and I've now got myself into the Pro handling, and I've figured out sort of a number of assists that work and sort of where my difficulty level lies. So that's okay there. So I'm on the verge of starting that off, and I'd love to get you guys to take on it, because I'd love to do MotoGP. Likely it'd sort of be like a side series. I'd probably only do a half calendar. I mean, just for a first season, and if people like it, I'll do a full calendar and sort of get the whole immersive experience. But that's what I want to do. That's what I've sort of got my eye on doing. I've bought a new controller for it as well. So that's my other idea. Okay, so those are the two ideas. So Pro Career, MotoGP, those are the ones I've got on the table right now. I mean, if you guys don't like the idea of the Pro Career, I'll look back into doing I'll look back into doing a standard driver career save. I mean, if that's what you guys want to see, if there's a certain team you want to see me drive for, if there's certain things you want to see me do in said series, then I'll look into it and see what I can try and sort out, and I'll see what sort of works for me making content. But that's something that will be worked out. But obviously, any feedback on what I've said in this video, greatly appreciated. I'd love to know what you guys think. I always love to know what you guys are thinking. In terms of a time frame for when this is all going to start happening, I would have started this week, because I'm sort of getting to the end now of what I'm trying to figure out. But saying that, I mean, next week I'm going away on holiday to Portugal, so I'm going to be gone for, I think, Sunday to Sunday. So I can't really... What I didn't want to do is I didn't want to start a new series and get like an episode or two out and then leave it for a week and then come back and think, you know what, I'm suddenly not feeling this. So the plan is, obviously, I've spent time testing. So I mean, I haven't been sat here doing nothing, if that makes sense. So I've been testing. I'll continue sort of testing. I'll try and do sort of a test video to myself, because I always like to do that before I start something fresh. and I'll see how that goes. And then in a week's time, I'll come back. It'll sort of be end of September, start of October sort of time that we'll start seeing regular videos rolling out again, because honestly, I haven't been on it, and I want to get back into things because I've been, compared to how I was the first 6 months of the year, I've been terrible these last 1-2 months or so, and I'd like to get back on it and sort of finish the year strong, because we did so well at the start of the year with Ultimate Career, and I was thoroughly pleased with it. And I feel like at this point in my own head, I'm still thinking to myself that I'm letting myself down on that front. So I mean, yes. So thank you guys for sticking by me and sort of the little bits of content I've done in the RDL streams, and obviously the other live stream I did a few weeks ago. Any opinions at all? Any questions you have from what I've been saying in this video, then please by all means ask me in the comments below, and I'll get back to you with an answer as soon as I can. Or any opinions, I'll take them in, and I've still got a week now to sort of process whereabouts we're going with things, and I may make a community post just sort of stating what's coming when, and so I try to hold myself to that as best I can, because I've never been fantastic at holding myself to this sort of thing, which is annoying to me, but I'll figure it out, and I'll get back to you guys on that. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you have stayed to the end, much appreciated, and hope this is giving you a bit more insight as to where I've been. And again, end of September, start of October, you'll start seeing regular videos coming out again. And yeah, that's all there is to say. So thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.